I'm JC, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Transgender TikTok star Girlalala killed in Florida. Community demands justice. A beloved transgender TikTok creator known as Girlalala was fatally shot Friday night in Florida, sending shockwaves through LGBTQ communities nationwide. Broward County deputies say the assailant was her boyfriend, who was arrested at the scene. Newly released 911 recordings captured a man pleading for help moments after the shooting, underscoring the terror and heartbreak of the incident. Video from a nearby Tesla reported showed Girlalala trying to exit a car before being pulled back inside, just moments before multiple gunshots rang out. Neighbors described hearing commotion and gunfire late that night. With nearly 300,000 TikTok followers and more than 40,000 on Instagram, Girlalala was known for her creativity, wigs, and bold style, work that inspired countless queer youth. Her fans and fellow creators have flooded social media with grief, outrage, and calls for justice. Advocacy groups note that transgender women of color continue to face disproportionate levels of violence in the United States. Vigils online and across Florida are honoring Girlalala's life and urging systemic change. As the investigation continues, supporters call for accountability and for her legacy of authenticity and joy to endure. Here's another story. Right? We continue to report on these stories, and it continues to happen. And we're always thinking of what we need to do next to not have to report on these stories. And I think in this situation, and I'm not, I don't know any better, but obviously I needed to look up Girlalala, and just in her TikTok, there were signs of domestic violence. There were signs of her putting herself in a situation that she could have gotten away from, and now it's too late. And I think we need to teach ourselves to see these signs, to find the oppression and run away from it. And unfortunately, I think it is systemic. I think, just from my experiences as well, and from seeing it from the outside, there's a post that she made that she was almost bragging about a fight that she had with her boyfriend. She had a bloody nose and she had a cut in her eye, and she was like, yeah, we fought last night. And it was like almost as if it was nothing to her. And I know that feeling. I know when my parents used to fight, it became normal, right, until someone said this is not normal. And I think that kind of repeating of like in history, you're repeating that, and it comes from your parents and their grandparents, and you seeing, I don't know her story, but you're seeing this. Maybe she thought this was normal, and then now it's too late, and it's hard to read.
Once again, we're going back to domestic violence issues in the queer community. I think we don't take that seriously in our community. We don't talk about it a lot. It's not something you speak about at parties. You don't really typically see it in the news. It breaks my heart that another person of color has been extinguished from the earth. And really this beautiful human candle, if I can call her that, she shined so bright. But what my grandmother used to say to me, which is a little funny, but I'll say this. She would say to me, darling, the brighter your light, the more bugs will come at you. And in Texas, when you turn on a light bulb, all those friggin' bugs will swarm. And it's really true. I've seen it in my own career where people came at me, the more success I had, because of my age, because of my titles, because of whatever I was doing that they didn't like. It seemed to somehow trigger something in them. Them. So,
it's sad, here we have another talented, individual snuffed out of her life now. Right. And, we're left like wondering, what could have been done, where were the resources? But what I can't get used to, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm going to, maybe age myself a little bit here, but how is it that we're normalizing these type of behaviors on video and on TikTok? Right. Why are we seeing this and not acting? If there's an act of violence, and if she's sharing about it, and these followers are commenting, like, what is happening here?
And I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were like, girl, run. What are you doing? Yeah. But you feed off of that, right? I mean, as a micro influencer myself, and going viral is a drug. When people start commenting, whether it's good or the bad, you feed off of it, and you're like, I'm getting known. I'm like, this is an opportunity for me. With that comes brand deals. People start throwing money at you. So maybe she thought that it was an opportunity for her, right? And then what happens is it creates jealousy within the household, because now she's the name, and the boyfriend is not, and that creates this jealousy within the partnership.
Very good point.
And who knows what they were fighting about? Maybe that could have been it as well. And it's just crazy that she would put it on social and feed off of it.
Yeah, I think we just need resources that guide people, or people that transition and that want to have careers like this.
Yeah.
How to go about it properly, because you're dealing with a lot as a young person,
Yes.
trying to find your own identity and then wanting to make your mark and then wanting to do all of that. So sometimes you're not making the best decisions in your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to have good resources, and that's where it starts. It's like
Yeah.
some of these organizations need to offer these type of resources.
I think she was like 24 or something. She was
Very young, very young.
super young. It's hard to make a sound decision.
And you
like,
become famous somewhat, and then you rely on people around you to tell you exactly how you should be acting and how you should do. And
Yeah.
it goes against the way that you believe. So yeah, it's inner turmoil. It's
Luckily, we do have organizations in South Florida like Trans Social
Yep.
down in Miami. I know that Morgan Mayfair and the team, they do a great job. I've supported them over the last few years, and they do work on mental health. They do work on so many areas. I can't even list them all. They're actually doing a great job for
also
helping.
up here in Wilton Manor, SunServe and AIDS Healthcare
Absolutely.
Foundation,
Yep.
they're all for mental health.
Sure, but how do they recognize that? And that's what I mean. Is chicken or the egg, right? Let's get to the person first before they have to think of that decision to make.
Right.
And I don't think she must have seen the abuse. I don't think she must have seen that this was not a comfortable situation or a sound situation to be in. One day.
Bless her.
There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.